The headlines blared. US, Japan launch massive naval drills, tensions spike in East China Sea, but on the water, there were no headlines, just the cold gray dawn of December 4, 2025, a steel curtain of warships cut through the waves, led by the USS Ronald Reagan, a floating city of steel and air power. Its flight deck buzzed with activity, jets prepped, sailors moving with urgency, the air thick with salt and jet fuel. This was Keen Edge 2025, a joint US-Japan exercise, one of the largest ever. It was a show of force and a silent message. To the west, China's coast loomed just over the horizon. To the east, Japan's islands. The Japanese flagship JS Izumo steamed in perfect formation, its decks alive with helicopters and crew. These ships were more than hardware. They were symbols of an alliance tested by 21st century geopolitics. Tension wasn't just in the headlines, it was in every focused glance, every radar screen, every clipped command. Dozens of ships, hundreds of aircraft, thousands of personnel, all practicing for a conflict they hoped would never come. Destroyers and cruisers fanned out, radars sweeping sea and sky, while nuclear submarines patrolled below. This was no parade, every system was live, every sailor on alert. The exercise was a full-dress rehearsal for crisis in one of the world's most contested waters. The scene was cinematic. Helicopter blades thumping, jets roaring, ships humming through the sea. For those on board, it was just another day. On a floating office at the edge of global tension. Equipment checked, diagnostics run, communications crisp. Their mission be ready, for anything. As dawn broke, a new and uncertain chapter in the Pacific's strategic balance began. The world watched, but out here, only the sea and the steel mattered. The alliance was on display, when the stakes had never been higher. The curtain had risen on Keen Edge. These drills were more than training, they were strategic communication. Every maneuver signaled deterrence aimed squarely at Beijing. The US and Japan showed their alliance was real, capable, and united. The message, any attempt to change the status quo by force, would meet swift resistance. For allies across the Indo-Pacific, the sight of joint operations was reassurance. The US remained committed, but for China, the exercises were a provocation, seen as containment and a direct challenge. This duality, reassurance for some, threat for others, defines the region's security paradox. What calms one nation, alarms another, fueling a cycle of action and reaction. Commanders walked a tightrope project strength, avoid escalation. Their mission, send a clear message but not start a fight. It was a high-stakes diplomatic and military dance where a single misstep could have global consequences. The world was listening, and every move mattered. Keen Edge 2025 was a test of modern naval warfare. Anti-submarine warfare topped the list. US and Japanese aircraft dropped sonobuoys, hunting for a simulated enemy submarine. Simultaneously, the fleet drilled air and missile defense. F-35s patrolled above, while Aegis destroyers linked radars, creating a shared air picture to intercept threats. The goal, an impenetrable shield over the fleet. Integrated strike planning followed. Joint teams aboard the USS Ronald Reagan coordinated simulated missile and airstrikes. The test, could two forces combine their offensive power seamlessly? At the heart was interoperability, working together as one. Could a Japanese destroyer pass targeting data to a US jet? Could an American helicopter refuel on a Japanese ship? The drills ironed out technical and human seams, forging a single integrated fighting team. This was the true measure of alliance strength. Behind the steel are the people. On the USS Higgins, Petty Officer Elena Rodriguez listened for the faint hum of a submarine, her focus a vital link in the fleet's defense. Aboard JS Hyuga, Lieutenant Commander Kenji Tanaka coordinated air traffic with a US liaison, blending English, Japanese, and NATO terms. Trust was built on the flight deck, in the galleys where chefs swapped recipes, and on signal bridges where sailors practiced old-school light signals. Pilots from both nations planned missions together, sharing tactics and stories. These daily interactions turned a political alliance into a real partnership. Service members missed birthdays and holidays, but their sense of duty powered the fleet. A young Marine summed it up. You know it's important out here, you feel the distance from home, but you know why you're here. The quiet professionalism and sacrifice of individuals like Rodriguez and Tanaka gave the alliance its true strength. Every handshake, every shared meal, every joint mission built trust. In a crisis, there's no time for introductions, only teamwork. The alliance was more than strategy. It was people, united by purpose. Their resilience was the fleet's greatest asset. The drills tested machines, but it was the humans who made the difference. In the end, it's their commitment that keeps the alliance strong. On day 3, the exercise peaked. A simulated crisis erupted. An unidentified submarine slipped past the fleet's defenses. An alarm blared on JS Kurisame. A hostile missile, Vampire, was inbound, launched from the Ghost sub. 90 seconds to respond. The Kurisame's Aegis system detected the threat and instantly shared data fleet-wide. On the Reagan, the threat appeared on screens in real time. The Japanese destroyer had the firing solution. The order, engage. 2 interceptors launched, streaking skyward. The fleet watched as icons raced toward the missile. Seconds ticked by, then, splash. The simulated threat was destroyed. Relief rippled through the fleet, but the Ghost sub remained. The hunt began. P-8s and helicopters dropped sonobuoys. Destroyers formed a cordon. A Japanese helicopter got contact, relayed it to USS Mustin. A simulated torpedo fired. The Ghost was neutralized. The entire sequence, from detection to kill, was a textbook display of Allied interoperability. Data flowed, decisions were made in seconds, and the alliance proved its mettle under pressure. The exercise wasn't just about firepower, it was about trust, speed, and seamless teamwork. In a real crisis, these seconds would mean everything. The alliance had passed the test. Global reactions were swift and predictable. Washington and Tokyo framed the drills as peace through strength, emphasizing defense and alliance capability. Regional allies like the Philippines, Vietnam, and Australia welcomed the show of unity. For them, the exercises were reassurance against a more assertive China. In Beijing, condemnation was sharp. State media called the drills provocative. The PLA announced its own live-fire exercises. The information war raged. Each side sought to shape the narrative for domestic and global audiences. Smaller nations watched uneasily, caught between giants. The fear that military signaling could spiral into real conflict. The exercises played out at sea, but the stakes were global. The world was watching, and holding its breath. On the USS Ronald Reagan, Vice Admiral Cartwright coordinated constantly with his Japanese counterpart, Vice Admiral Saito. Their personal rapport was the linchpin of the operation. They discussed tactics, data links, and lessons from the simulated crisis. Cartwright reminded his staff, "Our job is to show credible power and restraint. We follow the rules, we're professionals." Saito echoed, "The alliance is the cornerstone of regional peace. Our actions must be firm, transparent, and predictable." Both stressed de-escalation and adherence to international law. Technical integration, shared networks, and real-time data enabled clarity and discipline. When a Japanese ship detected a contact, every US ship saw it instantly. This eliminated ambiguity and reduced the risk of tragic errors. The command systems empowered decisive action, or restraint when needed. Strength and discipline, hand in hand, kept the peace. The East China Sea is more than a military flashpoint. It's a vital artery for global trade. Trillions in goods pass through these waters. Any disruption would shake the world economy. The drills underscored the fragility of this stability. With so many military assets in close quarters, the risk of accidental escalation was real. Both sides relied on protocols like the Code for Unplanned Encounters at Sea to prevent incidents. Service members had to be warriors and traffic cops, vigilant, cautious, and ready. One officer said, "You're scanning for threats and for fishing boats. There's zero room for error." The drills were a microcosm of the region's security dilemma. Presence deters, but also provokes. Navigating this paradox is the challenge for leaders in the Indo-Pacific. The goal: keep sea lanes open, deter conflict, and avoid provocation. Stability here is everyone's business. As Keen Edge ended, warships dispersed and jets returned to base. Relief and accomplishment replaced the tension. Systems worked, skills were honed, bonds strengthened. The alliance had proven itself, but the journey wasn't over. Debriefings would analyze every move, every glitch, every success. Readiness is a journey, not a destination. Constant practice and adaptation are required. The exercise didn't resolve regional tensions, but it reinforced a watchful peace. By showing the high cost of conflict, the drills bought time for diplomacy. The story of Keen Edge is one of balance, strength, and restraint, deterrence and diplomacy. The real power lies in the professionalism and sacrifice of those who serve. As the sun set, the lesson was clear. A strong defense keeps the peace, but only responsible leadership can build a lasting one. The watch continues. The Indo-Pacific remains a chessboard of power and principle. The alliance stands ready, but hopes for dialogue. The future is uncertain, but vigilance endures. The curtain falls on keen edge, but the story goes on.